I came from Cuba when I was 5.5. I had the idea of potentially doing something relating to Cuba because obviously this is my background. I would say in the late 80s, I started thinking about what would be the story. And I was working at Paramount for a number of films, and they had approached me and they wanted to, continue a relationship and asked me if there was anything I was interested in. And I said, well, I'd like to develop a story about a family in Cuba at the turn of the revolution and how that family becomes sort of a microcosm in what happened to the country.
Despite all of our differences, we always put family first.
I'm a product of that revolution and exile. I had this idea that it would encompass sort of some of the elements of certain movies that I had obviously grown up with and inspired by, The Godfather being one, Cabaret with the use of dance and music in the piece, and also Casablanca. There was a scene with a great actor, Julio Mechoso, and Victor Rivers. I said, Victor, drink the coffee, pour it in the saucer, and then drink the saucer. Because that's something that people would do. And Victor said, that's how my father would drink it. My mother told me a great story. She said because people would dress in white, they would always put a handkerchief on their shoulders so, the lipstick would not stain when they danced close, but also to protect that if they were dancing with someone they shouldn't have been dancing with, there'd be no record of that mistress. There was a traditional thing that happened in the early exiles. They had the thing called the fishbowl, but you would go through a glass container, and it was the last moment before they let you leave the country, and they would strip you of all your belongings. And so that experience is still very vivid in my mind.
Take it off.
This watch belonged to my father.
Belonged is correct. In here.
So I incorporated these things in the story based on anecdotes that I would hear over the years that I thought were theatrical in nature and really reflective of the time and of the culture. I was at a Laker game with Dustin, and I said, Dustin, I'm doing this movie, and I'd be honored if you would consider it. And he said, I'll do it if you come to my daughter's wedding. So we're making the movie. Dustin is in it. We finished the week's work. I have to fly to LA from the Dominican Republic to be in his wedding.
The thing I love most about New York is that you're always running into old friends.
And Bill Murray was similar. We were playing golf. Bill said, we should work together. And I said, in fact, I have this part in this movie I've been trying to make for 16 years. And he said, send it over. I knew Bill would take his time to read it and all that. And I was saying, well, let's give him another month, Maybe he'll finally get around to it. The little flip phones in those days, Hello? He says, Andy Garcia? Yes, it's Bill Murray. I said, hey, Bill, how you doing? He says, I'm fine. Enough with the small talk. And he said, I read your script. It's the most interesting script I've read in years. No one's going to see this movie, but I'd like to be in it. For Inés Sastre, she was a very well-known model, but I always felt that she had this imagery that could represent the ideal of this character, Aurora. So she flew in, and we talked for a while. And then I said, I'm going to put on a record, and I'm going to film you. Then I put it on, and she started listening to it, and a tear started coming down her face like that, Just uncontrollable tears, which she replicated in the film. She was amazing. And I said, yeah, see, that's the girl. So anything that had to do with musically, I always enjoyed tremendously. There's a sequence there which is an homage to all the great movies I've seen over my life where you intercut, action and dance with violence. So I was always very proud of that sequence and trying to execute that sequence. It is a historical drama. It's a celebration of the culture, of its music, the things that cannot be tarnished. That even though you have to leave the country you love, you can love her, but you can't be with her. Thank you for watching this exclusive interview regarding my film, The Lost City, which is available on Amazon Prime Video.